Murray for your hard work on this very important piece of legislation that aspirationally wants to improve the quality of life experienced by those kids trapped in so too often failing schools. My amendment is a very simple amendment. It would allow the states the option, simply an option, to have their Title I funds follow low-income children wherever they attend school, whether it's charter schools, other public schools within the district, magnet schools within the district, or even private schools. I think if we're really going to get serious about helping low-income families and their children, school choice is truly one of the best paths to getting there. Too often we see these poor kids used as poster children for political agendas, and we fail to find new paths to educate these very worthy kids. Mr. Chairman, I will also withdraw my amendment and offer it on the floor. I want to make my point here during the committee, but I do think we need a robust debate on paths that actually work for kids stuck in the wrong zip codes to have the highest quality of education possible in those zip codes.
Thank you, Senator Scott. Is there debate on the Scott amendment?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Murray.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I really strongly oppose this amendment. What it basically does is allow federal funding to flow from the public school system to private schools, and allowing Title I funds to follow the child to a private school really dilutes the funds and stretches the dollars that are tied already a lot thinner, and really diminishes the effectiveness of this funding. Furthermore, we know that tuition at a private school will far exceed the amount of a Title I voucher, so it really is unlikely that students in poverty will be able to even use these vouchers. And finally, I just want to note for our committee members that according to multiple studies, students offered vouchers do not perform better than their public school peers. So instead of diluting federal funding in the name of choice, I think it's really important in this legislation that we provide our most at-risk children with more resources within the public school system and not abandon that principle that our nation was founded on. And I really urge our colleagues to vote no on this amendment.
Mr. Chairman.
Is there Senator Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do think that we should have a robust debate, and I think that we can all have good intentions and disagree without necessarily being very disagreeable. I think if we study the facts as they are, we could easily say that we already have school choice. We allow public money to go to private colleges. We call that Pell Grants. This is a Pell Grant for a child K through 12, because too often those kids trapped in the wrong zip codes don't have an opportunity to use a Pell Grant to college because they simply don't finish high school. There's a classic example that's readily available for all of us to take a look at, to take a gander. It's the D.C. Opportunity Scholarship, where the average public school today in D.C. spends about $20,000 per student with a graduation rate around 56%. You can go to one of their choice schools through the D.C. Opportunity Scholarship for a price of about 40 cents on the dollar, where the graduation rate is around 91%. So there are classic examples around the nation. What I would suggest that we do is to continue to have that robust debate so as to discern which schools, which programs, which paths actually lead to the gateway of the American dream, as opposed to simply having a healthy conversation about a limited number of choices, which too often those kids living in the wrong zip codes never truly have the access to their full potential through the education apparatus that has not worked for them for about 5 decades.
Thank you, Senator Scott. Is there further debate? Senator Whitehouse.
Mr. Chairman, as the senator here from Rhode Island, and as somebody for whom Senator Pell was a mentor, let me take exception to the comparison to Pell Grants. I think that there is no sensible comparison to be made here, and I think Pell Grants are a very valuable support for families that Senator Pell championed, that we have supported on our side for generations, that we were able to expand recently. But an adult who is heading off to college and can go any place in the country they please is in a completely different circumstance from a child who has to walk or take the bus to the neighborhood school. There you want the schools to succeed, and you want to make sure that we are lifting all boats and not allowing funding to be torn away from local schools in order to support private competition. So being from Rhode Island and having long and affectionate relations with Senator Pell, I just have to say a word here rejecting that comparison, and I hope that that doesn't become the, we can have this discussion, but please let's not drag Pell Grants into this.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Scott.
I am not from Rhode Island. I'm from South Carolina, so I have no real affinity for Senator Pell, and I'm sure that he was a fine man who did a great job, and thankfully for the Pell Grant, I have had the opportunity to get a college education at a private school. So let me just paint the picture so that we can have a clear understanding and appreciation for what I'm arguing for. If you don't have the quality education by the time you graduate from high school, you don't have access to the Pell Grant. So the fact that we have the Pell Grant available for private schools today is a very clear thing that we should consider as we have a conversation about the pathways for success in America. Anyone, anytime wants to take a look at the quality of education received by senators, just look us up. You can see that the path to success includes a high-quality education. Anyone who disagrees with that, I don't understand what to say next.
Is there further debate on Senator Scott's amendment? All right, Senator Scott, if I may, if no one else, I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to thank you for your work on this amendment, and I respect what Senator Whitehouse had to say. I know of his affection for Senator Pell. I knew Senator Pell. He was a terrific man, chairman of the Senate's Education Committee, greatly respected. That's why the Pell Grant's named for him. But I think the comparison is exact. I mean, the Pell Grant is a voucher, and Senator Scott's proposing a voucher. I'm making a graduation speech at Walters State Community College next month to a young man, and a young man who is there will be graduating from Jefferson County High School and Walters State Community College at the same time, because he's able to have what we call dual enrollment. So he's attending Walters State with a Pell Grant, and he's still in high school. And the question would be, under Senator Scott's idea, he's proposed that we take the about $14 billion that we spend for the low-income children in the country. It's about 1/5 of every children. Turn that into $1,300, which is what it would be worth, and let it follow that child to the school that child's parents attends. That would not be a mandate from Washington, if I understand his proposal. It would be up to the state to decide that question. So I think it's a very useful proposal. We'll have other proposals about school choice, which I'm sure will produce a spirited debate and discussion. And I thank Senator Scott for agreeing to discuss his amendment today and then offering on the Senate floor. And when he does, I look forward to supporting him.
Mr. Chairman, I think Senator Scott has also offered a worthy amendment for a robust debate, and look forward to continuing that debate. I just want to make it absolutely clear that nobody should believe that Senator Pell would endorse such an amendment, because I'm confident that he would not.
Certain that I did not intimate somehow that Senator Pell would support anything that I've done, actually.
Well, we'll continue the discussion on the Senate floor. We have enormous respect for Senator Pell, but a voucher is a voucher. And I mean, you know, a Pell Grant to a high school or community college, it would seem to me, is the same thing as a voucher to a high school. It should be a voucher to a college. But I think we have our positions on this, and we'll continue the discussion. If there's no objection, we'll set aside Senator Scott's amendment and move to Senator Warren's amendment. Senator Warren.
Thank you. I call